Hello.
Okay, so class, we're in the path to Buddhahood. 6 parami, we're in the final pyramid. Very soon. So the Prashanya pyramid is the biggest area. I mean, it's the biggest scopes in the way to the Buddhahood. Okay. After the Prashanya pyramid, we will go to is the Bodhisattva steps. I mean, from step 1 to step 52, then become enlightened. I think this type of information is not available in Theravada. So, Mr. Leong, this is quite precious. It's Mahayana. The step is very clear. Of course, I will tell you, I will mention to you regards the pros and cons. Not all the theory is good and comprehensive. Some they still got some. I have to let you know, because Elena had to decide want to take Bodhisattva vow or not. So you better think thoroughly. Then it's not good for me to introduce you some product which is defect. You see, I have to tell you what is the defect, and then let you to decide. Okay. Then after this, we talk about the merit of the Buddha. Then we finish already. So I will just open the class for the comprehensive of Amitabha Sangaha. As what Mr. Leong requests. I think you're ready for that level. So we'll go more deeper. Okay, Abhidhamma. Okay, so now let's go back and have a look to the Prashanya pyramid. Plus, let's take a look. So let me just go through a little bit this the great vehicle, right? Stage 1, a vow to develop the Bodhi mind. Second is the application of the Bodhi mind, right? Third stage, stage 3, overview of the 6 pyramid, and 4 embracing virtue. Yes, we will go through the 4 embracing virtue in the first place. Okay. Then you see, class, take a look. You see, so this is the the 6 parami. Okay, you see, basically, this diagram is much simpler than the Chinese version. I think it's very hard to do the diagram. I mean, this type of diagram is very hard to do. Much simpler than the Chinese version. Chinese, I think, because the language, the words by words, maybe just 6 words is already. I mean, can be the 2 to 3 line sentence of English. So that is the advantage of the Chinese. Just a few characters that will be enough to explain the whole thing. And this is the feature of the classical Chinese. Sometimes it is over capable that you also don't understand what is the meaning of it. Over capable, just 6 words only. Wow, contain many things, many meaning. We also don't know what's the meaning behind. Anyway, one thing I have to just bear in mind, the change of the character of Chinese, not much change. Even 1,600 years ago, they still have the character until now still the same. You see, like Elena, your name is Yip Fok Lin, right? 3 words, you see. Yeah, 1,600 years ago, Chinese is exactly with this name until now also with 3 words, 2 words, or some is 4 words. So meaning to say that this culture itself, not much change. Okay, but because the interpretation, so this is the reason why we are still able to communicate and guess with them, because same character. Right? Of course, some they will be different. You see, so that is the precious of the Chinese culture. So some, some authors sometimes still have to guess of the classical Chinese. So for myself, I have to interpret it again. So meaning to say that you are you listen to the Dharma lecture, just like eating what we all warm it up. Yeah, number 1 is the classical Chinese, the translation, So they eat, they warm it again. Then secondly, the author eat, warm it again. I'm the third one. I eat, I warm it again. So you eat is number 4 already. You don't know who to eat your warm it. Yeah, Elena, yes.
Sorry, this one is a sideline already.
Okay.
In the group chat of the other classes, somebody passed away, is it?
Yeah. Then the guy Jia Hao, I remember.
Oh, the one with the picture.
The picture, yeah. Because
of COVID, because of COVID.
Yeah, COVID. Actually,
you look quite young.
Very young, 39. 39. I think for the time being, we already, I accept 5 cases. Okay, 3 passed away already. Okay, 1 I think is still in the ICU. Okay, on and off only. I think 1 okay. The rest 3 passed away already. Oh, okay. They are all young, you know. They're all young. I think younger than me. All are younger than me. Okay. Yeah. All right. So that is the case. Okay. So let's take a look. The stage of the progress is what I say lah. So that is the bodhisattva. 52 stages before enlightenment. So lastly, there will be the virtue of the Buddha, Dhammakaya, transformation body, the body arising from the nature of the Dharma. You see, for Chinese, 法身、报身、应化身、报身. You see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 character. But Chinese 2 character can count it. So that is the difference between the language. Okay, so let's go back to our text. Let's take a look. Okay, let me check out first. Okay. Okay. Yes, Sally, can you read in the first place Prashanya Paramita, please?
The Prashanya Paramita is nobly superior because all liberation relies on it, and all Buddhas come from it. Of all the faultless virtues, Paramita is considered to be the most noble. The sutras praise it boundlessly. Why is it so worthy of respect? Among the boundless virtues of the Buddha Dharma, each one has its own distinctive superior qualities and values that are worthy of respect. But Prashna has a special significance. It is the foundation of Buddha Dharma. The difference between ordinary people and sages, the worldly dharmas and the world transcending Dharma is the presence of Prashna. Thus, all faultless virtues and all sages of the 3 vehicles rely on Prashna. As it is said in the sutras, those who want to study the level of the Sravaka should learn the Prashna Paramita. Those who want to study the level of Prajaka Buddhas should also learn from the Prashna Paramita. Those who want to study at the level of the Bodhisattvas should also learn from the Prashna Paramita. In short, the one special quality of the Buddha Dharma that surpasses worldly Dharma is Prashna, and no world transcending state of faultless virtues arises without it. Prashna is the foundation for the liberation of the practitioners of the 3 vehicles. All sages of the 3 vehicles rely on it to liberate themselves from birth and death, and all Buddhas come from Prashna. In the Prashna Paramita Sutra, Prashna is the mother of all Buddhas. Prashna Paramita can produce all Buddhas, and the transcendent of Prashna is the mother of Bodhisattvas, and skillful means is their father.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, Sally, this we pronounce Prajaka Buddha.
Prajaka Buddha.
Prajaka Buddha. Okay. Yeah, class, take a look. This is the introduction, okay? Not much facts. Number one, you see, it is the most noble. The difference between the people and the sages is the Prashanya. Then you see all the Stravaka, Prachaka Buddha, they are enlightened through the Prashanya paramita. Okay, all Buddha come from the Prashanya, produce all the Buddha, see? So class, not much facts, just introduction and emphasize the importance of the Prashanya paramita. Can you check for me what is the original text for number 48?
C4 is PX3, Prashanya Sutta.
Prashanya Paramita Sutra. Okay, okay. How about the rest? It is the same. 48, 49, and 50 are all the similar.
Except 50. 50 is a V2.
V2, huh? V2. Okay, V2. V2 stands for what? V2, huh?
V2.
Vimala
Vimala.
Ketini Desa Sutra.
Yeah. So class to remember, Vimalakirti, he's the layman, but his status is very high, and he admonished Shariputra. Please don't copy him, because he's the Bodhisattva. So he was able to scold Shariputra, but we don't follow him. Okay, yeah, Vimalakirti, yes. So the rest is about the Prashanya Paramita. Okay, class, let's take a look. So we understand that this is the important for it. Okay, you see here we talk about Prashanya Paramita. Okay, Prashanya we know is about the wisdom. Now it's the Paramita. So Paramita meaning to say that we try to go to the soul, the opposite soul, right? We go to the opposite soul. That soul actually is the Buddhahood. So Prashanya Paramita, you can interpret that we reach the soul by Prashanya. So this is the most important thing. Okay. But anyway, from the paramit, the words itself, do you know that paramit sometimes refer to a special food? Heard about what? Sally, have you ever heard about that? Ever heard about the paramit sometimes refer to nangka or cempedak? You never heard about that? Never heard about that? Yeah, paramit, you know, in Chinese, paramit refer to the nangka or cempedak. Okay, nangka and cempedak actually is under a family of the paramit. So they are, what we mentioned paramit, they are both are included, including the what are the talab in Sabah, the talab, we call it as a breadfruit, that also is the same family under the paramit. So in Mandarin, people once we explain Prashanya paramit, we usually will refer to the fruit also at the same time. We will explain the fruit at the same time. Maybe I can check a little bit the English. See how paramit, right? See they use parami. Not this image. It doesn't appear, but in Mandarin, basically the words we use is the polomi, polom, polom. See, nangka cempedak appears. Okay, don't know what's wrong with this guy. They put to the durian also is wrong. So this is under the family of a polomi. Okay, so this is about the Prashanya paramit. Now we go to the next paragraph. Elena, your turn to read, please.
This being the case, one can ask whether Prashna is really the Dharma of the small vehicle or the great vehicle. The broad meaning of Prashna is that it is that which has the ability to produce the holy Dharma. According to this definition, Prashna is a doctrine common to the three vehicles. As for the extent of their respective reliance on prashna to realize emptiness, the Sravaka's reliance can be compared to the breath of a paw, while the Bodhisattva's reliance is like the breath of the universe. But they are not different in substance. Of the three animals crossing the river, like the practitioners of the three vehicles, only the big elephant in the rotting season can reach the bottom. Only Buddhas can penetrate the truth of all dharmas. Nevertheless, at different levels, they all enter the stream of the nature of things. Hence, although the wisdom that comes from contemplating the three vehicles may differ in terms of skillful means and levels, the fundamental quality remains the same. But according to a deeper understanding of prashna, associating with prashna can be compared to a woman uniting with a king and giving birth to a prince. The mother's status is elevated because of the son. Because giving birth to a prince is different from giving birth to a common person. According to this understanding, prashna is that which corresponds with Bodhi mind and is guided by great compassion. It is adorned by the 5 transcendences, gathers all virtues, and goes towards the Buddha way. From this perspective, prashna belongs only to bodhisattvas and can produce all Buddhas. In the great vehicle, prashna's direct realization of the emptiness of things is not only an entrance into extinction, as it is in the 2 vehicles. It is instead a skillful means that embraces all virtues and becomes the collective form of all the paramitas, regardless of which understanding and an explanation of prashna is based on. Prashna is a special quality of the holy world transcending Dharma and cannot be matched by giving, jhana, etc. In addition, the practice of prashna is a required method for attaining liberation from birth and death and become a Buddha.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, class, take a look. Okay, how see? Well, for this, okay. If you ask whether this the Prashanya paramita is common for Stravaka, Prachika Buddha, and the Buddha, the answer is yes. Okay, but there will be some different a little bit. The difference is between some that explain for the Stravaka, their wisdom maybe just like a pause only, or a very small hole only, the wisdom. But for Bodhisattva, it's big, it's more bigger. Because why? Because it's going to enlighten, become the Buddha. There's one analogy is regards three animals crossing the river. One is the elephant, okay. Second is the horse. The third one is the rabbit, okay. So the rabbit is analogy for the Stravaka, okay. And the horse is the Prachaka Buddha, and the elephant, okay, is the Buddha. So three of the animals are able to cross the river. But for elephant is able to step on the riverbed. So the Nibbana experience is very strong. Whereas for the horse, is running. So sometimes it's reach the floor, sometimes it is on the floor, the riverbed. So the experience, the horse can also experience the Nibbana, but not as much as the elephant. Whereas for rabbit will just swim across the river, but it never reached to the riverbed. So that is one of our examples. Have we ever gone through this before? Three animals cross the river? No. Okay. So, Mr. Leong, do you think it's a logic that a rabbit will cross the river? Do you think it is a logic or something wrong, sir, with the analogy in our original text? On the mic, Mr. Leong.
Yeah, I think there's something wrong with the analogy or simile used.
You mean a rabbit? It is quite strange that a rabbit will swim. It is correct?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Okay. So we need to say that the analogy is correct, but according to the film, you say it's first time to film the rabbit for swimming. You see, so we need to say this thing happened, but it's quite rare, you know. So it's out of our logic, common sense. Okay. So we need to say that this is the simile used by the original text. They based on something, based on some facts. Yeah, Sally.
Sifu, your voice has gone.
My voice.
Now better. Just now, cannot really hear what you're saying.
Oh, okay. So I mentioned just now the rabbit we need to say that is the facts. So according to the, to our original text, but just like according to the film, have you ever heard that? They said this is the first time to film a rabbit for swimming. We need to say it's a quite rare thing. You see, it is
rabbit swimming.
Yeah. It's quite rare. It's rare that we see a rabbit swimming. Okay. So anyway, so that is, you see, once a rabbit swimming, the leg cannot reach to the riverbed. So this is the wisdom enlightenment to describe for the Stravaka. Okay. Okay, let's continue. Let's take a look. Okay, so we mentioned there's three animals. You see, okay. You see here, there's one more analogy is that the mother status elevated because of the sun. Okay, why we talk about this? The reason is just like a Prashanya, you see. So the Prashanya, with the help with all the five transcendence, so it becomes a very, Prashanya basically correspond with the Bodhi mind, to the great compassionate, and also with the five transcendence. The five transcendence, meaning to say is the other parami, from the giving starting to the concentration. You see, so from here we understand that meaning to say the parami itself is the leader, is the guidance to guide all the merit, so to make it complete to the Buddhahood. Basically, parami is the unit of Buddhism. It makes us a difference from the Taoism and also the Yogaism. So that is the unique and the feature of the Buddhism. And let's take a look. Okay. Then, according to this, great vehicle means the realization of emptiness. A skillful means that embraces all virtue and becomes the collective form of all the parami. Okay. So that is the meaning. We go to the 161. Yeah, Mr. Leong, your turn to read.
Verse 161. The direct realization of enlightenment comes from practice, and practice comes from thinking and learning. Virtuous friends and further learning are to be relied on for the development of wisdom. Prashna can also be categorized as extraordinary prashna or worldly prashna. The true prashna is a prashna that is directly and personally realized through practice. It is said, for example, that prashna, being very profound and solemn, affirms absolutely accords with the truth. Superficial wisdom does not deserve to be called prashna. One should know that prior to the advent of Buddhism, the term prashna was used to mean the faculty of the intellect that has the characteristic nature of differentiation. The prashna that realizes the truth did not really always exist in the world. However, so of course there are no previous existing term by which this realized truth might be designated. What then should it be called? The Buddha had the skill to enable sentient beings to follow this precisely exact existing worldly wisdom in order to progress to higher and more profound levels, and finally to realize directly the truth by surpasses worldly intellect. This process relies upon wisdom, which has the characteristic nature of differentiation. So although true prashna differs from the wisdom that the world previously knew, it is still called prashna. Actually, worldly intellect cannot be compared to true prashna, which is attained through practice. The direct realization of the Buddha Dharma does not come from one's imagination, but from skillful means. Its causes and conditions must be based on the threefold wisdom that comes from hearing, thinking, and practicing. The last of these, the wisdom that comes from practice, is the wisdom that comes from contemplation in accord with concentration. Practicing means thinking deeply and discerning with the wisdom that comes from thinking the meaning of the Dharma. One does this so that the Dharma can be used as the object of focus for one's contemplation. The wisdom that comes from thinking has to originate in the wisdom that comes from hearing, that is, listening from the Buddha or his disciples or scriptures.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay, class, take a look. Now we talk about the definition of the Prashanya. Basically, if you go to the Buddhism Association, Buddhist Association, our definition for Prashanya is not very rigid, it's not very specific. For example, if let's say you can cook the meal very well, maybe the auntie will say, wow, 你好有智慧啊, something like that, right? Or sometimes maybe Elena, you try to handle a gathering so you can save some money. Then also the people from the Buddhist Association will praise you that, wow, 你真係好有智慧啊, something like that, right? So it is the real meaning of the 智慧. I mean, the Prashanya means this? Of course, no. Okay. Basically, I mean, once you are good in saving the money, once you are good in planning, or maybe you are good to analyze the thing, or maybe you see the thing very sharp, okay, in accuracy. So we all sometimes, if you label it as wisdom, that is the mandate wisdom only. It's the mandate prashanya. If really supra mandate prashanya, of course, it is not about the analyzing the thing. No, it's different from this. Basically, once we get our prashanya, our wisdom, we begin from hearing. We have to get the information in the first place. Okay, so hear or see. Okay, especially in the Buddha time, I mean the words is not created yet. So meaning to say that everybody just listen to the Dharma, maybe listen to the Dharma from the Buddha, maybe from the Buddha disciple. Okay, so it begins with the hearing. It used to say hearing. Then later on, we took down all the information in the scripture. It's still considered hearing, but we use our eyes to watch the words. Okay, the writing. All right. Then from here we transfer the knowledge to the experience. How? To the contemplation. Here, the contemplation, meaning to say that before you contemplate, you have to, understand it in the first place. So here he used the words thinking. But some they don't interpret wisdom thinking is not a partial to wisdom. Some just say that once you do the vipassana, you need the knowledge to guide you, but you don't go to think for it, because you think it. You think, if you think too many, your mind is analytical. It is not a direct knowledge. Basically, the Prashanya paramita is the direct knowledge to understand the characteristic of the anicca, dukkha, anatta, of the mentality and materiality, and from here the nibbana will arise. So that should be the right ways to understand the prashanya. Okay, so don't mystically deem that thinking is part of the process. But some, especially type monk, they will say that in order to get wisdom, you have to begin with the listen, and then you have to think for it, right? Or Mr. Leong, you have to think for it, then you practice it. So some they will interpret in this way. Okay. So let's take a look.
Sifu.
Yes.
Sifu, I think instead of thinking, it should be analyzing or analytical mind.
No. Actually, in real Prashanya paramita, especially if you try to transform the knowledge to the wisdom, it doesn't take, you wouldn't analyze the knowledge, but once you, in order to make yourself to truly understand the Dharma, you have to analyze it. But once you meditate, you don't analyze in the meditative state. Get it, Mr. Leong?
Yeah.
That's the logic, because if you're sitting meditate, you still analyze it. You need to say that you are not in the meditative state already, right? Okay.
Yes. Thank you.
Yeah, like what you experience, Mr. Leong, you see the nimitta appeared, but you don't go to analyze the nimitta, right? You would analyze, oh, the color is very beautiful. You don't go to analyze it. As long as you analyze it, I mean to say that your mind is scattered already, right now. Okay, so that is the meaning.
Right, thank you very much.
Okay. I say superficial wisdom doesn't deserve to be called as a prashanya. Okay. So sometimes prashanya, we use it means what? The faculty of the intellect and characteristic the nature of the differentiation. Okay, why do we say so? It's the nature of differentiation. Actually, in this before we go to observe the anicca, dukkha, anatta, you must be to see the difference between different mental states. For example, now you arise to compassionate, you know that. Okay, this is the compassionate. Why? Because once you see somebody in a difficult situation, and then you arise, I mean, the consciousness arise with compassionate. All right. Once you see, I mean, your good friend achieve in successful, so you feel rejoiced. So this is the consciousness of the rejoice. You see, it has this own characteristic. But the same, okay, for example, your enemy success, you feel jealousy, then you notice that, oh, you feel that this is jealousy. Why? Because this is based on the success of the enemy. So you see, why we say differentiation. Differentiation means to say that you are able to see they are the difference before you do the vipassana. Understand what I mean? Of course, because of course we know everything anicca, dukkha, anatta, but it doesn't mean that we are blind, you know. We must be able to see, oh, this is the consciousness, favorable consciousness, this is the non-favorable consciousness. We have to know that, we have to differentiate it. So the knowledge will guide us to see the difference. Like you see, I'm seeing 4 of you, right? You see 4 of you, you got eye, you got nose, okay, you got ear, and 4 of you have 4 eyes, right? But you're all different. You see, I won't confuse. You see, or you see, oh, you've got 4 eyes, right? But I won't confuse. Why? Because I see the characteristic for all of yourself. I'm able to see you all. See, so during you do the vipassana, our mental state and our rupa, you must be able to check the difference. So this is the specialty in Abhidhamma. You have to go to Abhidhamma to understand the details, all the details there. Okay, here the Prashanya explanation is not as good as Abhidhamma, just in certain stage only. Okay, let's take a look. So why we use the nature of the differentiation. Actually, this is correct. Let's see how. So Prashanya different with the wisdom than the world previously know. Okay, like the example. You see, the real Prashanya must come from contemplation in accord with the concentration. So basically, the vipassana must be based on the concentration. 4th jhana is the best because 4th jhana, your mind is very stable. You are able to different the things, right? You see, like this screen. If let's say the screen keep on shaking, I'm not able to see. I'm not able to differentiate who is who. So I'm not able to differentiate. But you see here, stable. I can see one by one 4 of you. Same only. Without the concentration, you can't see the thing clearly. Meaning to say everything you see the namarupa, they are not very clear. You see, but once I got the 4th jhana, just like now, 4 of you are steady. I'm able to see Sally, Elena, Mr. Leon. But if let's say the screen is shaking so strong, I can't even differentiate which one is the man and the woman. I even can't differentiate. And even the color, you see, Mr. Leon wear the white color, Sally is the blue color. Maybe even this color, the difference so big, I'm not able to see because it's so shaking already, you see. But now everything's stable, I can see things very clear. Then after this process, I'm able to differentiate. Then I will go to the Paticca Samubhada. Then from the Paticca Samubhada, I will go to the Vipassana. Okay, so that is the supramande wisdom. Okay. Yeah, Mr. Leon, the question, yes.
Sifu, regarding this thinking deeply and discerning during practice, can we term this as mindfulness?
No, it's a little bit different. Basically, okay, of course, I mean, if you go deeply, everything got mindfulness. Concentration, wisdom, they must be together with the mindfulness. This is more than mindfulness. Mr. Leong, okay. So as I mentioned, regarding the thinking, it's not a good way to interpret the wisdom. not a very good. So in
Yeah, that's right. Very, very misleading.
Yeah, very misleading. You maybe you think that, okay, I'm sit here, I think, oh, the Dharma, oh, I realized that, oh, today got one guy die again, so this is a permanence. No, the wisdom won't appear in this way. Of course, it helps, it helps, because we realize that, oh, COVID, many people die, the life is precious, it helps, but this is not the wisdom. Okay, it's not the Prashanya Paramita. Okay, so next, let's take a look. Okay, learning is from the Buddha, disciple, and the scripture. Next paragraph, Sally, yes, please.
The detailed description of the threefold wisdom that comes from hearing, thinking, and practicing is known as the 10 deeds associated with the Dharma. Copying the scriptures, paying homage to the Dharma, giving the scriptures to others, listening attentively to others' readings and recitations, reading the scriptures on one's own, receiving and maintaining the Dharma, explaining the scriptures to others, reciting the scriptures, pondering the Dharma, practicing the Dharma. The Buddha Dharma must be practiced in reliance upon the discourses of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. That is, in the course of practice that relies upon the threefold wisdom, especially for the practice of prajna, one must start with hearing, thinking, and practicing. The three kinds of prajna ordinarily described together are as follows. The prajna of truth, or the extraordinary prajna, is the wisdom that comes from direct realization. The prajna of contemplation is the wisdom that comes from practicing and thinking. Wisdom comes from thinking, and hearing is the prajna that relies on words. Thinking generally relies on words, but it need not do so. Worldly prajna is wisdom that comes from hearing, thinking, and practicing. Since it can be the cause and condition for the extraordinary prajna, it is given that the conventional designation of prajna, an instance of giving the cause a name based on the result. For those who practice prajna, the scriptures of prajna are the objects of their hearing and thinking are also necessary provisions for their practice. The initial skillful means for practicing prajna is hearing and thinking.
Okay, thank you so much. We said thinking is wrong words, but it keep on appearing, you see. I think there's something wrong with the translation already. Okay. Mr. Leong can sense it. Yeah, thinking is very misleading actually. I know why, because in Mandarin, it uses 思维, you know. This is a classical Chinese, you know, that translate with 思维 thinking. So the translator just translate as a thinking, but actually no, because sometimes Chinese words even though it's 思维, but it doesn't really mean thinking, you know, because there's a classical Chinese, you know. Does it happen in English or not? Maybe Shakespeare English, one word we call it as beautiful. Okay, maybe 1,000 years ago the meaning is not beautiful, can be means other. Possible happen like that in Shakespeare English. Or it's the same only. Beautiful must be the beautiful 1,000 years ago. Now also is a beautiful. Same, nothing but change. But Chinese, they will be changing, you know. Oh, okay. Okay, Mrs. Leong, finish. Okay, Mrs. Leong, finish. Okay, yeah. Okay, let's take a look. Here now again, we're going to talk about how do we get the knowledge, how do we get the wisdom, you see. Okay, here you see we got 10 causes. You see, according here, you say the wisdom, 10 deeds associated with the Dharma. It relates to the wisdom. Can you check for me number 55?
Mayantavibhaga.
Where is it?
M-A-D.
Oh, Madhyamaka, am I correct? Madhyamaka, right? Am I right? Madhyamaka, it is correct.
Mayantavibhaga.
Oh, Madhyamaka. Oh, okay, very confusing. Never mind. Okay, class, take a look. Actually, these 10 deeds is basically if you go through the the Mahayana text, you have chanted before, but you don't realize that. You see, do you remember now in Mahayana, we always mention that in order to have the wisdom, you have to copy the sutra, you have to read the sutra, you have to bow the sutra. Have you ever heard about that? Once the time you are in the Mahayana temple, right? Not sometimes the monks are used to say that, oh, in order to have the wisdom, you have to always do the reading, the chanting, the bow, the sutra. They don't go to call you to study and flip the dictionary. They don't say so. Am I right? Just keep on copy words by words. They say, oh, your wisdom will appear. Well, why this thing will happen? Well, it has something to do with the with the trends. You see, class 1,000 years ago. You see, at that time, once the Xuanzang went back from India to the China, they just very start beginning have a printing industry. They haven't started the printing industry yet before that. So meaning to say that if I'm a monk, the best way to have the circulation of the Dharma, I will tell you, please copy. You have the merit. Am I correct? So everybody just go to copy. They think, oh, because the monk said you got merit, you see. But actually, what the real merit behind is, because at that time, no printing industry haven't started yet. So I had to encourage people to copy the sutra, and then merit is one of the reward for you all. So everybody will just keep on copy. And then of course, copy not enough. I hope that you can study, you can read it out, you read to other people. So we say that this is the key for the wisdom. We say it will make you one day, your wisdom might open, something like that, you see. But actually, really, this is the ways just to make, just to make the information more sustainable. That's all on me. That is the real meaning. You just try to make the information become more sustainable and easily and accessible on me. In order really to truly understand, you need the direct knowledge. You get what I mean? Oh, so this is why you see, because this is the trend at that particular moment. So they will always mention this, you see, pay homage to Dharma, give the scripture to other, okay, reading the scripture, receiving and maintaining, explain the scripture to other, reciting. You think nowadays, is this practicable? It is practical nowadays for all these things. Not practical, YouTube can cover everything already. You want to give me Dharma? I said, no, please don't. Everything is already in the Google already. I can Google already. Don't share me the Dharma. Don't give me any Dharma books. You don't want already, right? Or explain only like that. YouTube got all the Dharma talk there, you see. So meaning to say that once time changing, the effort for the sustainability of the information and accessibility of the information is different already. That is not the real wisdom actually. It's just the effort to make it more accessible. Okay, then next. So here that's why it's mentioned here. Then you see three kinds of wisdom. Okay, maybe Mr. Leong, I answer a question first. Yes, Mr. Leong, any questions? On the mic, please. You are frozen. Okay, let me keep on. You are unfrozen. Please keep on talking.
Unfrozen. Sifu, this extraordinary prashna, is it called super mundane type of a prashna?
Oh, okay.
Super mundane?
Yeah. Supramundane, you mean, right? Yes. Extraordinary prashna mean supramundane. Is correct, Mr. Leong? Okay, next, let's take a look. You see a wisdom that come from thinking and hearing is the prashna that
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. You see, it's the prashna relies on the words. So meaning to say that the prashna have to begin with the words in the first place. We must go to sutra, right? So I will just understand it, really understand it. And here he said, you have to think about it. Oh, I have to think. So meaning to say, I have to understand in a simple way. You have to understand in the first place. Okay. And next. Then a worldly prashna is the wisdom that come from hearing, thinking, and practice. So meaning to say that in order to transform the knowledge, become the experience, besides hearing and thinking, you have to practice at the same time, you see. From here, they are the cause and condition from the extraordinary prashna. So the supramundane prashna means the ability to observe the mentality and materiality of impermanence, non-self, and also and the dukkha, impermanence, non-self, 无常苦无我 non-self 无常 impermanence,苦 dukkha, impermanence. Yeah. Two characteristics: impermanence, non-self. One more is what? Impermanence. I forget already. Okay. What, Mr. Leong? Impermanence, non-self. One more is what?
Unsatisfactoriness.
Unsatisfactory. Unsatisfactory. Yeah. Sometimes you use it is correct words. Okay, so that is the extraordinary wisdom. Okay, so you have to begin with the words in the first place. You see, so your prashna relies on the words in the first place. You see. Okay, the initial skillful means for practicing prashna is the hearing and thinking. We have to begin with the thinking. Okay, so time's up. We stop the class here. I'm going to meet you all 4:30. Bye-bye.